muffins?
No, I'm good. Thank you. No.
I'm gonna.
Do you want any muffins?
I'm gonna eat a muffin. I'm gonna ruin this whole recording with the muffins.
Do you know the Muffin Man?
We're familiar. We're acquaintances at most.
Okay.
We're not really friends, per se. I
Did
guess.
Did you know she's married to the Muffin Man?
Who?
The Muffin Man? The Muffin Man. She's married to the Muffin Man.
I was gonna say your wife gave me these, so
Yeah.
are you the muffin man?
Sure. I was doing the Shrek.
I know what you were
Dang.
doing. I was trying to ignore it.
No. It's great.
Okay.
Listen,
So-
listen, I'm back on the Twitter.
I'm
It's
back
the
on
greatest
Twitter.
thing.
It's the greatest.
It's the greatest thing.
Kibbles, did you enjoy Full Gear?
I did very much so.
I enjoyed it. I thought the most thing I was excited for was Soraya.
Yeah, why is that?
Because as she's told us before, she's been practicing.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to a podcast all about wrestling. In this corner, head author and a black belt, Kibbles.
Kibbles! What kind of name is that?
Pookie the Wolf is the best.
I forgot my car keys.
And in this corner, Pookie the Wolf.
Pookie the Wolf is one of the best!
Welcome to the Kibbles and Pookies Squared Circle.
This is the problem. Sabrina shouldn't have gave me these goddamn muffins.
I told you.
Well, although, I think with the new mic, it's a little easier.
Probably.
Like this would
Because you really got to be all up on that mic to hear, to
Mhm.
like pick up really good audio.
Like the hook bit that we did,
Yeah.
that would have been harder to do.
Yes. Much harder.
Unless I was like literally right in front of it.
You're like,
Welcome everybody to another episode of Kibbles and Pookie's Squared Circle.
Yep.
We are wrestling fans who talk about wrestling stuff,
and the circle is square.
and the circle is square. And sometimes we talk about other things like video games and other stuff.
And other stuff. But I
Um,
bet today we're going to talk a lot about wrestling.
Yes, we have Full Gear that just happened last night, and then we also have Survivor Series that's coming next week,
Survivor Series. Yes.
which I'm sure we'll talk about eventually
Mm-hmm.
in a different one, like the outcomes and everything.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah, so we planned it out perfectly. Full Gear happened last night, and now we're recording.
yes, he's exactly explaining exactly what we had happened, and that's what's happening right now. So
Yep.
that's what we're doing.
Mm-hmm.
We got a new champion,
A new champion.
AEW champion.
New champion.
The man's named Maxwell Jacob Friedman,
He's better than you.
and he knows it. The thing I thought this morning was that MJF is champion, and Roman Reigns is still champion. I was like,
That's what went through your head?
it was the concept of like WWE still has the same champion. That's what that's the thing that really makes me mad about the big difference between the two of them is the fact that there are so many titles that are being competed for in AEW,
Mm-hmm.
and the big deals that they have right now in WWE are the tag titles and then the minor big titles. So like the US title is like the main event most of the nights.
On Raw, yeah,
Or
because
like the
Roman
Intercontinental will be,
tends to be on SmackDown a little more often.
or the Intercontinental title will be, the big thing for
Yeah.
for that night.
I still hold I still hold that I believe Reigns is going to stay champion until WrestleMania. I think that's when he loses it
To
somebody.
I never
My
heard of somebody. Who's that?
yeah, it's some guy.
Some guy.
My assumption would be that they're probably hoping that Cody Rhodes is
Back by then.
yeah. Well, he would. I mean, I guess essentially he'd have to be back by the Rumble because there's only one champion. So whoever wins the Rumble faces the champion. So I would assume that they're really hoping that Cody's going to be rehabbed and back and can win the Rumble. If not,
I mean, the Rumble would probably be a perfect time for him to show back up.
right. If Cody's not ready, then
Sami Zayn.
Sami Zayn. I don't like.
I jokingly said that. And it didn't.
So
You'd
so
say
like I
it.
don't feel like Sami Zayn is like a WrestleMania main event type thing. So
Kevin Owens.
I don't know.
Kevin Owens is feeling a little oozy.
He is feeling a little loosey. But see, I don't know because they're pulling Kevin Owens into the rivalry now at Survivor Series. Reigns has already beaten him like 4 or 5 times
That's what I mean.
in championship matches.
What do you do now?
I know that they were. I mean, as far as I'm aware, WWE was really hoping and banking on Reigns fighting The Rock at WrestleMania. Don't know if that's going to happen or not.
God, The Rock is just ruining everything. We were supposed to get Triple H versus The Rock one last time. We're not getting that. Just terrible.
I guess. I don't know. I mean, it's like really like if Cody isn't ready to go for WrestleMania, then like I don't know who Reigns fights.
Well, that's another thing where I don't get where it's this concept of you've shown time and time again that Reigns can beat everybody. So
Yeah.
who beats him? So now it's just like he's just gonna sit there. He's sitting there stagnating and being like, no real stakes are coming because you've already proved that he can beat everybody.
Right. The interesting part of that story is Sami Zayn and the Usos.
Yeah.
Like no one would give a fuck about Roman Reigns if it wasn't for Sami Zayn and the Usos in the bloodline. Like,
yeah.
But I mean, they're doing a good job of storytelling. I'm interested in everything that they do.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, I don't know how much is interesting for me, just because it's like the title is what I want to see, you know.
Yeah.
And I mean, that's why I was somewhat interested in Logan Paul versus Reigns, because I was like, you know, hey, the title might be on the line, the title might change hands, who knows?
That was a good. I give him props. That was a good fucking match.
Yeah, did you watch
It
it?
was a fucking good match.
Yeah.
Way better than it had any right to be.
Yeah.
Um,
You know, the Saudi Arabia people, they deserve everything. They
Yeah.
get all. They get it
they
all.
they get it all.
They deserve it.
But yeah, no, it was
Fuck America.
It was awesome.
We should get nothing.
So, question: how do you feel about Austin Theory?
He cashed it in, didn't he?
Yeah,
On
Seth Rollins,
Yeah,
and
I
then
don't.
got his ass beat and lost.
It's kind of weird.
Also, the funny thing is that right before he came in and was like, "I'm cashing in my Money in the Bank," Seth Rollins was issuing an open challenge, so he could have just accepted the open challenge and not cashed in Money in the Bank.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
The whole thing makes no fucking sense.
Yeah.
They tried really hard to make it make sense this past Monday. Austin Theory cut a promo where he had said that Roman Reigns is like unstoppable, like nobody doesn't look like anybody's going to beat him right now. And then he used the excuse of the bloodline as to why he cashed in on Rollins, because he was like, yeah, look at a Roman Reigns match and all these people are always interfering. So there's no way and then he used SummerSlam. He's like, even when I tried to cash in on SummerSlam, Brock Lesnar was there to like attack me.
Mhm.
So he was kind of like, it doesn't make sense for me to cash in on Reigns because he's got this whole entourage of people, and so like I would never have a fair shot against him, which is why he didn't cash in on him. And I was like, that kind of makes sense,
It's kind of stupid.
but also you're kind of stupid.
It almost makes it seem like what's the point of having the Money in the Bank at all if they're going to have a champion who doesn't ever lose because of interference?
Right. And
like,
it's also interesting that they like chose to have him cash in and get the like to me it's like, well, you made a conscious effort to choose to take the briefcase off of Austin Theory because he has it for up to 1 year. Money in the Bank is in like June or July, so like conceivably, even if
do it
Reigns
whenever.
were to like lose the title at WrestleMania to Cody Rhodes or something, Austin Theory still has multiple months after that title change happens to cash in.
Yeah.
So
That's it's kind of I don't know. It's
the only name I could come up with if it's not The Rock or
Rhodes.
if it's not
Rock
The
and
Rock or
Rhodes.
Rhodes, if it's not The Rock and Rhodes, AJ Styles I think is the only other one that makes sense on the roster right now to fight Reigns at WrestleMania.
You mean just fight at WrestleMania? You're not saying take the title from him.
Yeah, just fight at WrestleMania. I don't know that AJ would beat him at WrestleMania, but AJ is a guy who I don't think Reigns has beaten during his championship reign. Maybe he has, but then you also have like because the OC is back, you have like the OC in the bloodline.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, because I also don't really think that the end game for Sammy is him fighting Reigns, or even if it is, it's definitely the end game is definitely not him beating Reigns. Honestly, I think Sami Zayn ends up teaming with his old friend Kevin Owens and fighting the Usos.
Taking the tag titles from them.
Yeah. So I guess if it's not The Rock or Rhodes, then it's Styles. Like I can't think of anybody else to
They need to
put
change
against Reigns.
the titles being stagnant is what really doesn't make me like. There's no stakes to the show.
Yeah.
Like the reason a lot of the time that I watch stuff is because I'm like, well, I want to see if these guys like who's gonna win. I don't know who's gonna win here. When
Yeah.
I can kind of guess, like, oh, I know what's exactly gonna happen, then I'm like, what's the point of watching it?
Yeah, and I think they did a good job of that on SmackDown. Was it last week or 2 weeks ago when it was they did the Usos against the New Day, and it was
Mhm.
like if the Usos win, then they're going to get the longest. They're going to take the longest reign away from the New Day.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, like in my head, I was like, it makes sense to have the Usos win, but I was also like, I could totally see them like building up this whole like, oh, we're gonna be the longest reigning, and then the New Day will beat them, and then like that can also continue the storyline with Sami Zayn and Roman Reigns and all them being like, what the fuck, man? Like
Yeah.
blah blah blah, and like putting the wedge between Jay
You're
and
fucking
Reigns
up the
more.
bloodline.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because because I thought I was like they could totally have him lose, and then Reigns is mad at Jay and Jimmy, and then like that further makes Zayn being like then you start having little moments of like Zayn being like, see, I told you, like he's not feeling Uzi, like he's not like, and then like he's trying to get Reigns to kick him out.
Yeah. I mean, there's kind of already this kind of issue with like the group in general being like having some kind of resistance at times, but not like completely.
I like the idea, and AEW does this as well. I like the idea of you can have times where there's animosity in the group, and you can have disagreements in the group, and it doesn't mean that as soon as there's a disagreement in the group, that the group somebody has to turn on somebody, and the group has to break up.
Yeah.
Which has kind of been WWE's MO for like the last
They show
2
their hand
decades.
right away.
Yeah.
Where it's just like as soon as you've seen some kind of animosity, you're like, oh, they're gonna break up.
Yep.
It's like with you take example of like Christian and Jungle Boy, where like they had little hints of it,
Mm-hmm.
and then it was just like out of nowhere, like, yep, this is happening now. And they're
Yeah.
like, oh, we kind of knew it, but we weren't completely sure.
Yeah.
So,
and and with WWE, when they would do it, it would be like, yeah, there'd be some disagreement or animosity, and it wouldn't even be like a prolonged thing. It would be the next week they fucking broke up.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Exactly.
So
They would just show it right away and be like,
Yeah.
this is happening. And it's just like, oh, they're gonna break up now. This is it.
yeah, it was like hot shotting it real quick.
Yeah.
I will then also say that AEW sometimes needs to fucking move their shit along. Sometimes it's like it drags too long.
Yeah. Some stuff they keep in the oven for too long,
Yeah.
and it kind of becomes overcooked.
Yeah.
I agree with that. There are times where it's like this is the longer the better, but then it becomes, how far do you go before you're like, all right, now it's boring.
Yeah, it's a balancing act that you have to find.
Yeah. I don't know. So about that, I'll bring up Full Gear. I missed Jangle Boy versus
Jangle Boy and
Luchasaurus,
Luchasaurus.
which during the media scrum, I heard him talk about it, and he was talking about the fact that he was talking in a way that like he was trying to stay very kayfabe with it, but at the same time being like, there was something that he said there was hints of Taker versus Shawn Michaels, Hell in a Cell. I don't know if it was like his outfit or just kind of like trying to pay homage to that.
I think it was
Were there parts that reminded people of that?
not me specifically. I think maybe there
What
there
was
was
Jungle Boy wearing? I'm kidding.
he was wearing a Heartbreak Kid shirt.
Oh, okay. Oh, that's pretty precise,
Yeah.
actually.
No, I guess what they were, I guess what he's referencing, because I didn't notice anything.
One of the reporters said it, and and what he said to that was that, and this is the part where he's like trying to stay kayfabe. He goes, "I know that Luchasaurus is one of Luchasaurus's favorite matches. Is that?" He said, and then I decided to pay homage to that and kind of show him what's what. So it was like I'm still gonna beat his ass, but it's like as being his friend for so long, I knew that that was something he enjoyed, or it was one of his favorite matches. So I was like, okay.
Yeah,
But since I
mean,
missed it, I had no clue what he was talking about. So
I didn't notice anything that was like blatantly obvious. I mean, the only thing I can think of is like um, Luchasaurus did like the thing where he throws him into the cage and then he was like bleeding from his face and he had like his head pressed up against the cage,
yeah,
kind of a la Shawn Michaels, when Taker was like raking him on the cage.
yeah,
That's really the only thing that stood out to me. But maybe he was just talking about the overall dynamic of like big guy, small guy in a cage.
the I did see the blood on his face. He still didn't have to get it. It still like dried on there by the time he did his media scrum.
Okay,
But
that was a good match.
Yeah, I heard that was like a lot of it was very nice.
I was kind of surprised it was the show opener, to be honest.
Was it?
Yeah.
Huh. So that was the show opener, and then what was next?
Then it was the Elite against Death Triangle.
We could talk a lot about this one.
They
Where they're going, at least for me.
yeah, the Elite did a
That's sorry to explain.
mm-hmm.
They're doing a best of 7 now.
Right.
For people who don't know, they're doing a best of 7, and exactly what I explained about WWE and their championships. If it's going to be stagnant and be like, well, I know what's going to be coming because they're going to be doing these matches over and over again, I'm kind of bored with it already. I'm like, I don't even want to see the first match. They already did one match, Death Triangle won. That's it. It's weird. It's weird to do a match of 7. Like maybe best 2 out of 3 in one match and do like that.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm like, you know what I mean? Like, what's the point of doing this best of 7 series?
Yeah. So to throw out the entrance really quick, because the Elite always come out with something special at the pay-per-views.
Yeah, I didn't understand why you were singing it until they said it in the media scrum.
Yeah, they came out with "Carry On My Wayward Son," which was cool.
They said Tony Khan said he has the rights, so he might do it again.
That'd
They
be cool.
might end up using that again. He said.
That'd be
He
cool.
said he's not sure.
So yeah, I mean they had a fantastic match, which anybody would expect. It was honestly probably my favorite match of the show.
Yeah.
Which I expected going in. It ended with how Pac has been trying to get Ray Phoenix to use the hammer.
Mm-hmm.
He passes him the hammer, and Ray Phoenix is like, "No, I don't want to use it," and like tosses it back at him. And then later in the match, Phoenix gets V-triggered, and Pac like walks up and like puts, instead of like handing it, he like forces it into his hand, like he puts it into his hand, and then he gets picked up for the one-winged angel, and he hits Kenny Omega with it and rolls him up for the win. So, and then there was like there was clearly like a
Shenanigans.
yeah. Well, so when it ended, there was like clear like the camera is like on them, and Pac's like, I told you," and like Penta is like, "Yeah, we did it." Like Penta was like in on it too and stuff. So there's like this whole story of like he didn't want to, but that and like he's multiple times he's been like, I don't know, I don't want to win that way, I don't want it, and then like now he gets forced to do it, and it's kind of like he wins, whereas he keeps losing when he's not using it.
Yeah.
So I think there's like I think that will continue to play into the
It's
finishes
good
of the next
storytelling.
matches. Yeah, I think every match is going to be a story built on top of it. I wouldn't be surprised if he tries to like not use it on the next one,
Mm-hmm.
and they end up losing because of it, and then
Yeah.
he'll like maybe Ray Phoenix will go like full on like heel,
Yeah.
because he's like, oh, like shit, we lost when
This'll
we
work.
didn't use it. So I think there's going to be like a story thread that's going to go through the matches.
See, that makes it a little bit better, but
I think probably a best of 5 would be better if they did a best of 5, and then instead of having a match every week, you did every other week.
mhm.
I think that would probably be a better idea.
They have to really pull out some stuff to be
Yeah.
like,
Well, that's why I said I
what can
think
they do that it'll be like, full spots that I've already seen before.
yeah. Well, that's why I was thinking like we'll get to if we get to 7 matches, right? Because like they could totally not go to 7 matches.
Yeah.
Like same thing with like 2 out of 3 falls, where like sometimes it just doesn't. Um, I could see if they go the full 7, I could see the last one being like a ladder match or a TLC match or something fucking like crazy.
Yeah.
To make it like a big ending special thing. Um, yeah, I don't know. I'm reserving judgment for how I feel about it until I watch it, because the first match was awesome. Do I want to see another match? Yes, because I really enjoyed the first match.
Okay.
By the time we get to 7, will I be like, I'm done with this? Maybe. I think their big saving grace would be
Stipulations?
no. I
Oh.
think their big saving grace would be a story thread that goes throughout the entire
Mm-hmm.
7 match series. Like I said, like because of how they won, I would love to see like in the next match, Pac tries to do it again, and Ray Phoenix is like, no, I didn't want to do it the first time. I still don't want to do it. They
And then
lose because of
yeah.
it. So then Ray Phoenix does like a full on heel turn in the 3rd match, and then maybe you can have like the 4th match, so they win, and then the 4th match, the Elite could be like, fuck the shenanigans, we just want like a no holds barred match.
Yeah.
So then like the 4th match is no holds barred. Like you can do match stipulations, but don't
Escalate
just
it.
do it to do match
Escalate,
stipulations.
yeah, escalate the situation
Yeah.
over and over again.
Do it to same thing with like when they would do like Hell in a Cell or a cage. Like don't just fucking do it to do it. Fucking do it because there's a reason in the story.
Raise the stakes.
Yeah. So like I think if they did it that way, you could get 7 matches out of it and have them all be different and have them all be interesting because of the story thread that's going to go through them all. Will they do it? I don't know.
After that was the. See, I didn't see.
It was Jade Cargill and
Nyla Rose.
Nyla Rose.
See, I didn't see. Just for clarification, I didn't watch up until when did I come in?
You came in, I think, right after Jade Cargill and
Yeah. What was the match that they were doing? I can't remember now. I have no clue.
it wasn't the triple threat.
No, it was Fatal 4-Way. They were doing the
Yes.
Fatal 4-Way.
Yes.
Okay, so Nyla Rose and Jade Cargill was before I showed up. I showed up around the Fatal 4-Way. So the Jade Cargill TBS stuff.
She came out in Thundercats,
Which
I was surprised at. I thought she was going to do Black Panther.
that would have been cool. It's always next pay-per-view.
Yeah. I just figured it was more topical for now because the movie had just come out.
Yeah.
Then Jade Cargill won. I think she's like 42 or 43
And got her title back.
and got her title back.
Okay.
The match was okay.
Yeah.
It wasn't
It's okay.
fantastically amazing. It wasn't bad either. It was all right.
Yeah.
I mean, I will also say that it's hard, right? Because they were in, I don't want to say a death spot, but it was like they were following the cage match that was or they were following the Elite, which followed the cage match. So like anything they were going to do was not going to be.
It was a lull.
Yeah. Anything they were going to do in that match was not going to be better than what we
Yeah.
just saw.
So I was a little confused because I'm thinking about the two components or two combatants. There was obviously no Jaded, right? The win wasn't a Jaded. It couldn't have been.
I think it was.
She picked up Nyla Rose. And
I think so. I'm trying to remember. I know she picked her up for a powerbomb and powerbombed her.
Jade did.
Yeah.
I have a hard time seeing her do the Jaded
She
too.
did.
Big people.
I would have to go back and double check.
Anyway,
I know she
I'm
powerbombed
not,
Nyla
I
though.
feel like I'm sounding like I'm disrespecting Nyla. I love Nyla, but the fact that like I don't see it, I can't
Yeah.
visually see it.
Yeah, no. It like I said, it wasn't a bad match by any means necessary. It just wasn't a great match. It was okay.
I like watching Nyla. I don't like watching Jade because it's just.
I don't either. It's
Yeah,
not interesting to me.
It's just like I like her as a person. Like she's that, but like her being a heel was just like there's nothing going on with that. There's no kind of. There's no kind of like thing going on. But since Kibbles knew those first three matches, I'm going to talk about the Fatal 4-Way. The Fatal 4-Way was, oh, was she the, okay, never mind. Sorry, I'm getting distracted. So it was the Fatal 4-Way was the,
Yeah, I'm looking at like a play-by-play results thing, and it says Jade hit Jaded to score the victory.
okay. I'm not going to go see that footage. So you're looking it up right now? God damn it. So we have the Fatal 4-Way. It was quite interesting, kind of a tag team match, but not really. I was hoping for more of a and there she's up. Oh, okay. She did it. She pulled it off. I could not visualize that in my head, but I guess yeah.
You're welcome.
Yes, thank you. I needed to see that. So Fatal 4-Way, very interesting.
Yeah.
I think
They had cool moments of Cesaro and Bryan Danielson.
should we talk
like,
about the finish?
Sure.
Because I remember we mentioned it and how. So Cesaro has Sammy in the swing,
Yeah.
and then I assume what Jericho was supposed to do was hit Cesaro and just Cesaro, but he kind of just threw his body at both of them.
Yeah.
And kind of hit Sammy real hard. Like he just kind of landed on Sammy.
And then he nailed the Judas effect
Yeah.
on Cesaro.
But it was really fucking weird to see him just dive at both of them. And I'm
Yeah.
like, it doesn't even seem like you thought about that. You just did it.
Mm-hmm.
You're like, yeah. You just see him like throw his whole body at him and just expect that something is to happen.
Yeah.
That was weird. I think I'm a little, and I think we talked about that earlier, where before we started recording, where the Blackpool Combat Club and the JSA, it's just like part of it's just like, I'm not very interested. Just 'cause
I'm
it's
not
been going
interested
on
in
for
it
so
anymore.
long. It's like I've seen these guys fight so many times.
Yeah, I'm done with it.
Yeah.
It was interesting in the beginning, and then it continued to be interesting because Jericho won the championship from Cesaro,
Mm-hmm.
and then for me it continued to be interesting because of the Daniel Garcia thing where they were like he was like,
Will
oh
they,
maybe
won't they?
yeah maybe I'm a wrestler, and there's like Wheeler Yuta being like don't fucking trust him, and Daniel Bryan's like no he's gonna
Yeah.
be like one of us. So like I feel like all of that was interesting.
So the BCC is falling apart. No one has any titles anymore,
Yeah.
and the whole thing's just falling apart.
Yeah, so I think,
And we'll get to the rest later. Of
yeah,
that
we'll get to the
stuff.
rest later.
We didn't even talk about the other titles that they carry.
Yeah, so I think that this rivalry needs to be done. I don't think that it's interesting anymore. They're clearly not going, as far as I'm concerned, they're clearly not going to beat Jericho for the championship.
So Jericho is to fight Ishii. I don't know how to pronounce his first name. On Wednesday.
On Wednesday.
So you said earlier that you think that the JSA are going to be fighting the Best Friends now.
Right. Well, they also announced that Orange Cassidy is defending against
Jake Hager.
Jake Hager. Which is why I was like, oh, okay, yeah, this will be like the next logical step because they're both groups. They can.
Yeah. Rocky Romero. They could just get all those different people. That's what, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 5 of them.
Yeah.
And then my biggest hopes is to have Ty or Anna Jay get involved and then have Chris Statlander come back.
Maybe.
I miss her so much.
Me too.
No, I miss her a lot, Kibbles.
Oh, okay.
Anyway,
She's more than a woman.
she is. She's now. She used to be
An alien.
what was it? Is it
An alien.
Yeah, but she was world's greatest alien or something like that.
Oh.
It was something. It was something alien. She was an alien. That was the important part. I can't wait for her to come back. That's going to be a huge pop for me. I'm going to be excited.
I will say that the exchange between Orange Cassidy, Jake Hager, and Jericho was
Was
one of
funny.
the best
Yeah.
fucking things.
I like that, and I feel like you guys all love the fact because I wasn't watching at that point, but he mentioned the
His
feud
jacket,
between
yeah.
the feud between the two of them.
You still owe me $7,000 for my jacket
Yeah, which is mentioning him versus Jericho.
from before, and then the whole like, what's in the bag?
Yeah,
And it's
yeah,
the
that was
title.
weird. Like you don't know that that's what he carries in
Yeah,
the bag.
the title's in the bag, and then he's like,
It's like you want it.
"I like that title
Yeah, it's really weird.
as much as I like this hat," or something like that. There was
Yeah.
like a whole thing with the hat, which I thought was fucking great.
It's weird. And then Danhausen was there, and he was all of his stuff as far as wearing a suit was not like correct. Like his hands were like the sleeves did not come up to his hands. Like the jacket was too big for
Way
him,
too big.
and the tie wasn't done all the way.
I don't understand what was happening.
It was
there.
supposed to like I think it's because of the Mark Sterling stuff. Where it was just like he was doing that whole if you're their lawyer, I'm best friend's lawyer, and
Yeah.
that's what he's doing. I don't know, it's weird.
You should Ethan Page, you should get Danhausen to be your legend. He's like, what? He's like, yeah, Darby Allin has his legend Sting come to the
Yeah.
ring, so you should get me to be your legend.
Yeah. I love the back and forth. Like behind the scenes, I love him and Ethan Page. They're funny. But yeah, so then getting back to Full Gear, we had
After the
Saraya?
four-way, I think it was
Saraya
Saraya.
versus Britt Baker, which I don't. This is the everything was great about that. It
Mhm.
wasn't amazing. It was still a good match. It was her getting. It felt a lot like for me. It felt a lot like CM Punk and Darby Allin. Like can she still do it?
Yeah.
But then the fact of like there was a moment where she hit her in the neck,
Mm-hmm.
and Britt Baker had this like, I have an idea. I'm like, it's been 5 or so years. You don't know already that she has a neck injury? Wouldn't you just go for it from the like? It's almost she realized it in the ring where she was
Yeah.
like, she has a neck injury. Like, yes, you should have known this already. That's why she wasn't wrestling anymore.
Yeah. It was the typical like over addressing the situation.
Yeah, and it was like, I can use this to my advantage. Like, you should have gone in thinking this.
Yeah. A
That's-
very wrestling thing.
Yeah, but it was fun. It was a fun match. She won. She dropped her with 2 of those, whatever that move is, where I know it as the spider DDT that MVP does,
Oh.
right? Where he and then just DDTs him.
Yeah.
It's like cradles him. It's cradle DDT.
Don't remember what she calls it.
It's MVP DDT.
Yes.
Shout out to Zach. Not Zach Zodiac, but Zach. Our
Mhm.
Zach. So then it was the
That was a
triple
good
threat.
match.
Oh yeah, yeah. Sorry, that was a good match. I liked it.
Yeah.
I enjoyed it. I want to see more from her. Hopefully she's not after last night. She's not like a special occasion fight kind of person. I like to see her like every week, kind of like just fight people, even if it's like respectful. It don't matter. I just want to see her wrestle again. So then it was the triple threat, which
Big meaty men slapping meat.
I missed most of it. I was not feeling well. I told you earlier I was like not.
Yeah.
So I was in the bathroom for most of that.
It was big meaty men slapping meat.
big meaty men slapping meat.
I enjoyed it. Wardlow had some moments where he was like high flying.
I think I heard
which
one
he
of you
does,
yell.
which he does sometimes.
He on occasion just throws his body.
Yeah. No, I actually really enjoyed that match. It ended with Wardlow powerbombing Powerhouse Hobbs a couple of times, and then Samoa Joe came in, hit Wardlow with the championship, and then choked Hobbs out. So now Joe is a double champion.
Yeah, TNT and ROH champion, which hopefully means that we'll see him more because I feel like we never see enough Joe.
Yeah.
I feel like it's always like a every 2 weeks kind of thing.
Yeah. So I wonder if we will get a one-on-one match, Joe and Wardlow, at ROH Final Battle.
That'd be interesting. I wouldn't mind that.
Yeah.
That's December, right?
Yes. I guess it really comes down to a question of like, does he want to put that on the ROH show or does he want to put that on like Winter is Coming on like Dynamite? Since Wardlow is more of an AEW guy than an ROH guy.
Yeah. Well, especially for the TNT title, I feel like if it's for the TNT title, it'd be like Winter is Coming.
Right. It'll depend on which championship it's for. If it's for the TNT, it'll definitely be Winter is Coming. If it's for the ROH television championship, then yeah, it will probably be on Final Battle.
And then I liked the end to it. I didn't see most of it, but I did like the end of it.
It was a good match.
It was an interesting way to end it. It was just like field robbed
Yeah.
Wardlow. And then Wardlow and Powerhouse Hobbs kind of had like a mutual understanding, like, we both lost. And they're like, yep, we both
Yeah.
lost. And then he left the ring.
They were both like, we lost, and Joe's a fucking douchebag because
Yeah.
basically.
The next match was it the tag team?
Yeah, Sting and
Not the tag team I thought, but yeah, you're right.
Sting and Darby against
Double
Jarrett
J and Jay Lethal.
Jay Lethal.
I found it interesting. I mean, Jeff Jarrett, I was explaining when we were watching the match, he's very boring for me. I don't find him to be an interesting wrestler.
Yeah, I have a hard time with this because I was like, because like he came out when he attacked Darby, and I was like, oh, like we're gonna go to the well of like old stars, and then it was like, oh, and we're immediately like, we're not even gonna do anything. Like in my head, I was like, we're not even gonna do anything interesting with him. We're just immediately going to make him fight Sting, which is like clearly a what Jeff Jarrett would do type. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
I was like, oh, we're just gonna go back to this well. It's not like this story really hasn't been interesting for me, to be
But
honest.
I feel like you can't really go wrong with someone like that where you're like, he's brand new in the company. His first match will be against someone that he's used to fighting.
Yeah, no, I mean, logically it makes sense for them to go in that direction. I just really didn't feel like I cared about this rivalry
I
at
get
all
you.
because it was specifically because of the whole like Sting and Jeff Jarrett portion of it.
Yeah. I mean, I like Jay Lethal versus Darby Allin. It's fun. I mean, Darby Allin had great spots in that match. Of course, Sting had his
His crazy moment.
what's his quarterly annual dive?
Yeah.
We'll call it his quarterly annual dive because he does one at every pay-per-view.
Yep.
So he's just got to have his quarterly annual dive, and then he's like good for the that quarter. The Satnam Singh catch was pretty funny.
Yeah.
It's pretty cool. Cause,
Yeah, it was cool to see Satnam Singh like actually get involved and do something.
Yeah, and then he actually got hurt.
Yeah.
Which was cool. So it was a very interesting match. I hope to see Singh do some stuff in the future because he, the whole point of him being tall and stuff is just like do what you have him there for and have him wrestle and have him fight people. If you have him like Dark Elevation, just fucking choke slamming people and beating the shit out of people.
Yeah, my assumption was that he wasn't doing anything because he was like still being trained, like he didn't really know anything yet. That's my assumption. But they wanted to capitalize on like the big signing.
Yeah, it's like we never got him versus Joe, and they just moved past that storyline and was like, oh, okay.
Yep.
But yeah, it was fun, but it was like kind of like just fun, and that was it. Trying to think of what else. Somehow I'm blanking on the whole match card right now.
Move on, and I don't know. I don't feel like I want to watch Double J on my TV screen on AEW.
You really just don't like Jeff Jarrett.
It's not that I don't like him. I don't know. Like, I'd rather see somebody else.
Are you scared for like the concept of like with Hulk Hogan, where like he's just gonna try to take over everything, make it about him?
Not really. I just found that like I don't care about him. Like maybe
He's a boring
yeah.
legend.
Yeah. Like maybe I would have been more interested if they had done something different with him. Like the fact that he came in and then they immediately like threw him in with Sting, which I like watched all through TNA.
Yeah.
Like I think that's why. So like maybe if like Jay Lethal and Jeff Jarrett move on and they're like feuding with somebody else, like I might find it interesting.
Yeah.
I think the main issue for me was I was just like, oh fuck, come on.
Yeah, let's not do this anymore, kind of thing.
Yeah,
I got you.
yeah.
Um,
It would be like it would be for like I guess for you it would be like exactly the same as like if for some reason they signed Hulk Hogan and they were like, all right, yeah, the first rivalry we're gonna do is Hulk Hogan's in the company and Sting is gonna be crazy up in the rafters. Sting being like, oh, this is Hogan is deceiving you all
Yeah.
again.
or like Hogan come back and he goes, "I'm gonna start NWO, brother." And you're like, "Why? Why would you start NWO? That's not really a group thing that you're in charge of."
Yeah.
Yeah. You know, I'd have the same kind of concept and that's why I like seeing him on WWE. But if I saw Eric Bischoff on AEW, I'd be like, I'm not really interested. Get him off the TV. I don't give a shit about that guy.
Yeah.
I don't mind him, but I just think that he's gonna be boring.
Yeah. The next match was the interim women's world championship. Jamie Hayter
Very weird outcome. I did
against
not expect that.
Tony Storm.
So it was a good match.
Mm-hmm.
We
Great
had
match.
interruption from Rebel.
Yep.
Then we had another interruption by a hooded figure, which ended up just be Britt Baker.
Yep.
No one decided to come out and help out Tony Storm.
Nobody cares about her.
I mean, Soraya and all that other stuff, but they had the 1 week that I was there, I think.
That's true. They just like
they
they're
didn't
just
have
gonna-
Willow. They didn't have any of the other
Hey,
people.
that's how wrestling goes, man. The heels have their guys come out and help, and the baby faces just look like idiots. Not always. I think AEW is usually pretty good with not having that happen.
So it was a good match. I love Jamie Hayter. Was not expecting her to win the women's championship that night. It's kind of surreal. I'm like, I did not expect that coming.
Yeah, I think they.
But-
my opinion is Tony Khan totally pulled called an audible because of how over Jamie Hayter is. I would be surprised if the plan
I
was
didn't-
for her to win
I
the
didn't get that
championship.
feeling of she was definitely destined to win it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's why I mean that's part of the reason why I think that
It was like the
It was a
Acclaim when the
180.
Acclaim won the tag titles, or like when CM Punk won the title. It was like they're building up to be like, this is it. And I just feel like I think it's the issue of you need to get her out of Britt Baker's shadow. I feel like that's
Yeah.
the thing for me where I'm like, I didn't enjoy it. That's the thing. Like last night was great. I'm glad she won the title. I love Jamie Hayter, but I didn't enjoy it because I was like, I still feel like she's still in her like in Britt Baker's shadow, and maybe that'll change. I don't know. It's just weird.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, we had this we had a discussion last night about Britt Baker turning on Jamie Hayter, like right then and there, or in the near future. And my thought behind it was, I don't think it makes sense for her to turn on her in the near future because she clearly helped Jamie Hayter win the championship last night. So that means that it's not about. For Britt Baker, it's not going to be about the fact that she won the championship over Britt Baker. Because if it was, then Britt would have made sure that she didn't win.
Yeah, I think it's
So-
weird. You know what it is too, Britt Baker. The fact that it just seems like she's always just the top,
Yes.
always the top.
Right. So I would say the only way it would make sense for Britt to turn on her would be if they started showing a little bit of signs of like jealousy from Britt Baker, but for me it would only make sense if it was a longer drawn out story for them to break up. I don't think it's something that would make sense if you just hot shotted it and was like, "Oh, in 2 weeks she's just going to turn on her." Like, I don't
Yeah.
think that makes sense because clearly,
Well, like you
because
said earlier,
clearly
with
she didn't care.
WWE.
She helped her.
Like you said earlier with WWE, where it's just like just
Yeah.
don't hot shot it and be like, bam,
Yeah,
break it up.
I think for a logical standpoint, it only would have made sense if two things happened. Was one, Britt Baker did three things, right? Either Britt Baker stops Jamie Hayter from winning the championship. It's a long drawn out story of her turning on her. Or the other thing that would have made sense was Britt Baker didn't help her win the championship, and so then she turns on her as soon as she wins it because
Mhm.
it's like it's my championship.
There was
So like if Britt Baker hadn't come out and if Britt Baker hadn't come out and actively helped Hayter win the title, I honestly would say within the next 3 weeks, Britt Baker's turning on her.
Mhm.
But she actively helped her, which means that like her turning on her immediately doesn't make sense anymore.
yeah,
Because
it's
you can't now say, oh, I'm so mad that you won the title, it's my title or whatever. Because if that was the fact, she
Why
wouldn't
would
have
you help
helped
her?
her.
Yeah.
Yeah, she wouldn't have helped her.
I'm so excited. I'm gonna see her in a couple weeks.
I'm so excited,
I'm gonna see Britt Baker.
and I just can't hide it.
I'm gonna see the DMD. Um. So there was a part in the post event media scrum of Full Gear, where they had talked about the interim title and whether or not that will be what are the plans for that. And it seemed like Tony was annoyed with Thunder Rosa. He was saying how he's like, I kinda, I'm hoping that I really wanna hope that this works and we get Thunder Rosa back and he does a lot of that. So he goes, I really hope that she will be available and show up to do this. It almost seemed like it was on her. Like he's ready to be like, let's make this a title and not go like, um, not like, oh, we don't know or I have no comment. He was like, either she's gonna show up and do the match and either win it or lose it or whatever, or the fact that he's just gonna turn it into the actual women's title. Like he's gonna be like, fuck it, you're not the champion anymore. You're gone. So Jamie Hayter is the official champion. He just seemed very annoyed with her. But yeah, it was very interesting. Where it's like it definitely seemed like he was annoyed more than anything about it. It wasn't like a oh, we'll see. I don't know when she'll be back. He was like, oh, well, if she decides to show up and wants to come back, and it's like, wants to come back, she's the women's champion as far as we know. But he was like, if not, I'll just make it the official title, and it won't be. He used a fancy word instead of interim. He used it, whatever the opposite of interim would be. But yeah, I liked the match. It was fun. I don't know what's gonna happen with Tony Storm now, but
There's also a total moment where she got fucking decked in the face.
yeah, I didn't see it. Like you guys explained it, and I was like, I didn't see her get hit, but she definitely got hit in the face because she started bleeding from the nose.
Yeah.
Um, I feel like even when you watch even when I watch dark matches with her, Jamie Hayter is like a real big hitter.
Mm-hmm.
Like she seems like she's very very not stiff, but like very very aggressive.
Yeah.
Like, even with that one backbreaker move she does, it's just very. She'll just drop people on their backs, and it's pretty terrible.
Yeah.
It's like a rock bottom backbreaker, and it's pretty like she just goes bam and just like,
Bam.
drops them on there. Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if she's like got hit or broke her nose because of Jamie Hayter's aggressiveness. And like accidents happen, but like I could see her getting hurt from the aggressiveness of how Jamie Hayter does. Because I've watched plenty of matches from her, and I'm like, you can tell she's very very aggressive on how she does her moves. But either way,
Yeah.
it's a good move, fun times.
Up next was the tag team championships.
The Acclaimed versus Swerve in Our Glory.
Yep.
Which was I thought was
Everybody
very good,
loves the Acclaimed.
very good storytelling as far as how they finished it up.
Yeah. Keith Lee was like, "Man, I don't need this shit."
Yeah.
Walked out.
So, Swerve, how did he find the tweezer or the pliers?
When he threw,
They were just
I think it
under the
was
table.
Max Caster.
Yeah.
He threw him into the
But they
table.
were under the table.
And there
though?
was well, no, I think it fell out of like a box of, well, they were under the table,
Yeah.
but you're supposed to believe that they fell out of a box of like the tools that they have at ringside to like tighten
Yeah.
the ropes and all that stuff.
But he still tried to use them on him.
Yeah,
I don't know. What was he planning to do? Just break his fingers?
break his fingers so he couldn't scissor, like he did with Daddy Ass.
I mean, I liked the whole match. It's always good with the four of them. A little iffy with Bowens' injury. I guess it was like a strain or something, or some kind of issue.
Yeah, whatever it was, he was good enough to work. I mean, he was lifting people, he was throwing people, he was doing stuff. So
yeah. The interesting part was, like I said, the getting the pliers, and then when going to use them, he got stopped by Daddy Ass.
Yep.
And then
he
the refs came out and distracted Daddy Ass, and as they were distracted, Swerve came into the ring and showed Keith Lee, said, "Look, I got pliers. Let's do this." And Keith Lee said, "Nope. Fuck your pliers. Throwing him out of the ring, and I'm getting out of here."
Yep.
So you can lose on your own.
He literally said, I'm not dealing with this shit.
Yeah.
And left.
Indubitably.
Indubitably.
And then he left, and then the Acclaimed won.
Yeah.
Still tag team champs.
Everybody loves the Acclaimed.
What was that move they did?
I don't know.
It was so weird.
It looked cool, though.
Yeah, it was very strange. But anyway, then we had the main event. The main event, which is confusing more than anything. Very weird when it comes to MJF.
Oh, you
but
mean confusing because they clearly disregarded the rules of professional wrestling?
what part?
When he was
Oh,
like,
when
I'm
he
just
went through
gonna,
the
I'm
table?
just gonna use this table.
Do you
And
think
both both of them were like, I'm just gonna use this table. Neither of us are gonna get disqualified. We're just gonna use this table.
do you think
Fucking
that,
hate when they do shit like that.
Do you think that the knee injury was real?
No.
When he tombstone? The media scrum, he was still limping. I'm sure you saw
In the media scrum, he
went off.
well, so my opinion is that
He said he's old, he's tired, and he works with children.
yeah. My opinion was when I
He's
looked at
fucking done.
when I looked at the media scrum, it looked like he took a couple steps and then was like, "Oh yeah."
Oh, did he? I didn't even see the beginning of it.
Oh,
I saw him limping and yelling without a mic.
Yeah, I think it's a.
He looked
I
like a
think it's a
crazy
work.
person because he was like looking at everybody like,
It's also
"Ah,
weird
fucking
that
best."
it's also weird that they chose to do that and not have a microphone on him or like somewhere else or something because like you couldn't even hear half of what he was saying.
Yeah, but you got the gist of it.
Yeah.
So yeah, MJF is the new AEW champion by cheating.
William Regal.
William Regal helped.
Remember, the greatest thing the devil ever did was make the world believe he didn't exist.
Well, that's why I thought the firm was going to come in because I was like, oh. And what's the fucking... That's the thing that annoys me too. Fuck MJF. The fact that he's doing CM Punk stuff, stop it. Stop it.
He was doing that back when he was
Get
feuding
some help.
with. He was doing that back when he was feuding with CM Punk, though.
That's my point.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
And like you said, the snowflake or the snow angel thing.
Yeah.
It's such a concept of like, stop hinting to Punk. Are you bringing him back? Stop giving me hope.
No, I think he's
Just being a dick.
pissed off. He's just being a dick.
That's why I said fuck MJF.
Yeah.
Give me false hope. You're fine just on your own. You don't need to hint to anybody else.
Yeah, I think it's him being a dick. Like
A fucking cook.
Like even
Sorry, I'm tightening my microphone. Go ahead. What were you
like
saying?
even yeah, I think it's just him being a dick on purpose and being like, yeah, CM Punk.
Fuck that guy.
Yeah. I also
I'm just annoyed.
yeah, I mean, there's also like part of me that's like, is the elite like being like fuck you CM Punk because like like I don't know, like you could read way too much into the whole like carry on my wayward son.
What do you mean?
Like carry on my wayward son. There'll be peace when you are done. Like when you're done with this whole situation and you're done with Punk, like
Like you're
weary head to rest. Don't you cry
Don't
no
you cry no
like
more.
you're back, Punk's out, like
Like
it's totally possible that like I mean that I will also admit that's probably me reading way too fucking much into that.
carry on, you will always remember. Carry on. Anyway,
Uh, but yeah, like you that's the song you come back with, and it's you could read into it that it's like you're done with like this nonsense and stuff, and you're carrying on and
move on to
whatnot.
the next. We're moving past it.
Yeah, that could be seen as that. I think MJF is doing certain things a little a little too much. I think that they need to get a handle on that and on him.
Once I rose above the noise and confusion, just a glimpse beyond this illusion, I was soaring ever higher, but I flew too high. Masquerading as a man with a reason, my charade is the event of the season. If I claim to be a wise man, it's definitely. It sounds
That's
like
what I'm
CM
telling you.
Punk. Well, surely means that I don't know.
I'm telling you, if you read into that song, it's a very interesting song choice for their return song after given what happened. You can totally read into the song and the lyrics and be like, this is fucking like talking about what happened.
Now your life's no longer empty. Surely heaven waits for you. Yeah, I mean, it's. I don't want to right away jump to like them trying to start shit more. A lot of people are already saying "fuck Punk." I get that. Whatever.
That was so for me throughout the whole pay-per-view, that was the most shocking thing that happened on the pay-per-view. Is the Elite came out, and before the match started, they were all like doing like the two teams were standing next to each other like doing a stare down type thing, and the audience started chanting fuck CM Punk.
Mm-hmm.
And it was not like there were a couple people. It was like the majority of
The
the
majority of
audience
the
was
audience.
all standing up in unison because like they were all like like throwing their arms into it like
Yeah.
too.
Fuck CM Punk. Fuck CM
Yeah,
Punk.
they were very clearly
Was
like
it now?
fuck CM Punk.
Was it funk? Was it fuck CM Punk or was it fuck CM Punk?
That was definitely the first one.
Okay, sorry. Right. Yeah, I didn't think that either.
Which was interesting because then Sabrina was like, "Oh, but I thought they liked Punk," and like I was like, "It's because of the situation." And then I followed it up with, "Wrestling fans are also fickle.
Yes.
If Cult of Personality randomly started playing, during this pay per view, they would all flip out and be like, "Oh my God, CM Punk, yes." They
That's
would
what I
all
thought.
be
That's what I thought would happen when MJF won. I was like, maybe CM Punk will come out and they'll do what they wanted to do before the scrum issue. And I was like, if it hits, people are gonna fucking lose their shit regardless.
Yep.
But yeah, I mean, listen, do I like the Elite? Yeah, they're all right. I think I respect Kenny Omega more than I do the Bucks because the Bucks just seem like they're really like granted them versus the Lucha Brothers was amazing. The cage match really kind of opened my eyes to AEW. But the concept of them, like, as I've watched more and more of their matches, are kind of like copy and paste moves. They do the whole flip over their legs and the kicking someone in the face, and Nick or Matt, you see ya, and kicks someone in the face, and then does the whole routine.
Mm-hmm.
Do I like them to the point of I like them more than CM Punk? No, I still like CM Punk even with both of them. I think it's harder for the CM Punk part because it's the second time now. The Young Bucks have had incidences. They might have incidences that aren't the same, but they've had instances where people are like, oh, Young Bucks did this thing, then they shouldn't have. But now it's the second time that CM Punk had an issue with a company, and it's easier to go, fuck CM Punk.
Mm-hmm.
It's not saying that it's like, oh, fanboys of the Elite are gonna fight tooth
Well-
and nail to keep CM Punk out. It's just in general.
Right, and I think that it's very easy for the audience to chant something like "fuck CM Punk" because we have not heard any. We've only heard rumors about what actually happened
Mm-hmm.
backstage. So, from the fans' perspective, it's very easy to see, or from a fan's perspective, it's very easy to say that CM Punk walked into the scrum, he went off, and then the Bucks went to go confront him about it, and he started throwing punches. So,
Yeah.
like, the reason why we don't have, so they look at it as the reason why Kenny Omega and the Bucks are not on Dynamite or not on my TV screen is because of CM Punk.
And don't get me wrong, I don't.
Which is not true. They're not on your TV screen because they also made a very dumb decision.
Yeah. And you said earlier the HR person, whoever I forget
Yeah.
what her name was.
Whoever it was,
She fucking let them
yeah,
go, and that's
fucking stupid.
Do I am I disappointed in Punk? Absolutely, because of the fact that I know that he let a good thing just slip away because of his pride again.
Yeah.
And that's upsetting because it's like, dude, you had something good. Why did you have to fuck it up like that? Why did you have to just put your ego aside and just you are CM Punk. There's people who are gonna love you regardless of what you do. Don't fuck it up and make it worse.
Yeah.
And he did that, and it's upsetting, but it's just
It would be very interesting to see what would have happened. Or it's very interesting to speculate or see what would have happened if Punk had never like gone off in the media scrum. Because conceivably, we could potentially still be aside from having Death Triangle become the champions and like that whole like the elite aren't there. We could conceivably be in the same situation that we're in now because Punk got injured in that match, and their estimated timetable for him to be out was 6 to 8 months.
Mhm.
So, like, even if that whole thing hadn't gone down, we still wouldn't have seen CM Punk versus MJF this pay per view. We still probably would have seen him against Mox, and the whole thing like would have just been the same.
So what you're saying is, and if I may quote Dumb and Dumber, so you're saying there's a chance.
Saying there's a chance.
No, I think yeah.
Honestly, at this point, I don't think there's a chance Punk comes back. I
don't
think his either his contract gets bought out, or he or they just keep him home for the remainder of his contract and let him go silently.
I'm hoping. I'm holding out hope. I'm not going to sit there and think every little skeptic thing is going to be him, or everything little hint something is going to be him. But I really want him to at least address it.
Yeah, I would like to see him. I would like to see him come back because I enjoy CM Punk. I enjoy the storylines and things that he is a part of. I enjoy his matches and his promos. I like Punk, so I would like to see him back. But I'm also looking at the situation from a realistic perspective,
yeah.
and the realistic perspective is he's
You
probably
doubt
not.
it, yeah.
Um,
So we're
So.
in community standpoints, we are in the darkest timeline of AEW.
Yeah.
Because the worst thing could have possibly happened, and that set us off on this weird path.
Yeah.
Do you think that they're going to hurt from not having CM Punk anymore? I mean, I'm going to be honest. Even I feel like I lose interest a lot of the times.
Probably. I mean, ultimately, I would have to look at pay-per-view numbers and things. I mean, I know that Punk was, um, uh, I've heard because I haven't looked at official things, but I've definitely heard on various podcasts and other things that he, did really well for their buy rates. He did really well for their pay-per-view buy rates. That he did really well with segment numbers in terms of what when he was on, those numbers
Which
may have not always been the highest, but they tended to be one of the top producing segments of the show.
Which is a point to make, but the fact that he goes, oh, well, I gave them big numbers for a year, and that's it. Yeah, but you also fucked yourself over by thinking you have the biggest dick in the locker room and trying to
Right.
prove it.
Right. Yeah. I mean, the one thing I do know for sure is that the pay-per-view now they've maybe they've done better pay-per-view numbers since then,
Mm-hmm.
but I do know that the All Out with his return match was at that point was the most bought AEW pay-per-view by like a decent number, like by like 40,000 buys.
All Out, was that him versus Darby?
Darby, yeah.
Okay.
The first pay-per-view with him back
I
did
couldn't think of it.
Yeah.
Full Gear was him and who? Was that him and MJF for the first time? No, it wasn't him and MJF, right?
him
Oh,
and
him
MJF
and-
was at
him and-
Revolution.
Full Gear was him and Kingston.
Yes.
Okay.
So yeah, it like I do know that when he came back, that was their highest buy rate ever, period, for a pay-per-view. Have they beaten that number since then? Maybe. I would have to look it up because I don't know the numbers.
So this is the
but-
thing for me, and I don't want to keep bringing up Punk. I know we're move on from there, but until the year ends, I'll probably have some kind of thing. Like, you think about it this way. It'll be almost a year since they started their first fight.
Yeah.
And I feel like it'd be so perfect to bring back Punk while MJF is the champion. Now, you have to deal with Ricky Starks or Ethan Page fighting MJF, whatever. Which you think that the firm would come back into the fold as his group, considering that he did try to use the diamond ring and did try to cheat.
Mhm.
It's not a thing of he doesn't like the firm. It's the fact that he didn't want to cheat. He wanted to do it the right way. Now he has not done that. He has won in a cheap way. Is the firm going to come back and be his team? Is Ethan Page going to win and then have to face MJF and just lay down for him?
Maybe.
It's a very interesting concept to see where we. That's what I mean. MJF is really kind of making me think about it, and what they're doing with that. That's about it. I mean, as far as where they go now with MJF, that's gonna keep me. That's gonna keep me watching. Like I said, Punk. I'd love to see. God, that was such a peep hop. Punk is going to be a big thought in the back of my mind until it's not. And
Yeah.
because I'm such a big fan of him that it's just going to be that way until I know for a fact that he's gone.
Yeah, I think that makes sense.
You know, it was like that when he left WWE, where I'm like, he'll be back, and he eventually I was like, okay, doing movies now, doing different stuff. No,
Yeah, the Punk thing was like maybe he'll be back, and what sold it for me for WWE was later that year in, I think it was November. It was a good like 10 months after he left when he did the podcast with Colt Cabana. That's when I was like, yeah, no,
that's what I was going
it's
to bring
done.
up. What do you think set off this chain reaction? Who do we blame for this whole media scrum building up to what it was?
I don't know.
I mean, not that it matters who we blame. Who do you think caused this chain of events? Maybe not unintentionally.
Don't know. I mean, I feel like there are certain people in the locker room that felt a certain way about Punk, and maybe Punk felt a certain way about other people.
Mhm.
The only thing that I can point to say this kind of started shit was Hangman.
Do you think
Hangman.
Cabana had anything like that because Khan already said that he did not keep them away from each other on purpose. Yeah, I mean,
It's kind of hard to.
yeah, I don't know.
It's hard to.
Say that and mean it, or what do you mean? You're saying
It's
that
hard to
Tony-
say that and have that be the truth.
Yeah,
Especially when Punk came around, suddenly Colt Cabana was not around, and then when the whole Punk thing happened, suddenly Colt Cabana
Cabana
shows
was
up
back.
on. Now, granted, it was a one-time thing,
yeah.
but suddenly Colt Cabana shows up on Dynamite.
Well, he said he was explaining. He's like, well, I knew that Colt Cabana was a champion for Ring of Honor, and I wanted to give him a chance to fight Jericho because I think that'd be really interesting, and it just happened to be while CM Punk was gone.
Yeah, I mean
It
it's
was like, come on.
Yeah.
I got to work on my Tony Khan, but I think it's getting there.
it's getting there.
It gets louder as he goes. I don't want to get louder as I go. But and then I end it with, let's fucking go. So yeah, I had a question for you
Mhm.
before we get. There was one question I wanted to ask you. I don't know where we're at so far. Where do you think House of Black is going? What do you think is the next opponent for them?
My guess would be that they'll do something kind of low level to start. Maybe they'll have a very short feud with a team that they can easily wipe out, like
Dalton Castle and his boys
maybe,
take the Ring of Honor 6-man tag matches, tag titles from them.
maybe.
I think that would give them hope.
I mean,
Meaning.
my main thought was that they'll have some like really small feud, and then they'll be the next challengers for whoever wins the um, best of 7.
That'd be good. I'd like to see the Elite versus House of Black.
Yeah, yeah. Like in my head, I say like, let's say the Elite wins the best of 7, then at Revolution, you do the Elite against the House of Black.
Yeah, I'd like that. I would like to see that. I like the House of Black is one of those things that's keeping me there as well. It's keeping me watching. I always like the House of Black, and there's certain people I'm trying to hold out hope for. Um, the Best Friends is always a thing.
Mm-hmm.
House of Black, Willow, who I haven't seen. I gotta start watching Rampage again. I'm not. All I'm watching is Dynamite right now. It's like it's. I'm getting
Well,
down
it's
back
hard
to
when
basics.
Rampage really isn't super interesting a lot of the time.
But I wouldn't watch.
It's on a terrible. It's on a terrible time slot.
Well, the fact that like before when I was watching it, I would watch Elevation and Dark, and I'd watch Rampage. Even if I didn't watch Rampage live, I'd go back and watch everything through. I don't do that anymore. I just watch Dynamite.
Yeah,
I've
I
gone
just
soft
watched Dynamite.
on AEW.
Although I just watched Dynamite, but I will say I usually don't watch Darker Elevation anyway.
Yeah, I used to always watch Dark and Elevation. I haven't watched them in forever. Since I want to say since Halloween. So yeah, I guess that's it. I mean, unless you want to talk about Survivor Series or wait until next week.
Nah, we'll do next week because then we can like review it.
Yeah, I'm probably gonna be disappointed by it, but
Okay.
I mean, WWE is just like, I actually am excited for the War Games match.
Yeah.
But
Which one?
who's in the female one?
Damage Control, Nikki Cross, and Rhea Ripley against Asuka, Bianca Belair, Alexa Bliss, Mia Yim, and I forget who the 5th woman is.
Is it LeRae?
Maybe.
Huh. So it did Nikki Cross throw out the
24/7
Is that
championship?
gone?
Appears so.
Good for you. Good for you.
Yep.
Get rid of that shit.
This is a perfect way to get rid of it.
Yeah, just throw it in the trash or miss the trash can entirely.
Yeah. It's so much garbage, it doesn't even belong in
Oh
the trash
my
can.
goodness. Shots fired. Bang bang. Brah, brah.
Listen, the only person who was ever a good champion was R-Truth when he was the 24/7 365 I-476 European national champion. Did you ever see that?
No.
He would start rattling off like random shit. He's like, I'm the 24/7 365 I-95 national European champion. It's funny.
Yeah. So yeah. So yeah, Survivor Series next week. Should be fun. We didn't talk about Mia Yim, but she is back. I mean, you just mentioned her, but
Yeah, she's now the second woman who is in WWE while her man is in AEW. Oh
I
no,
can do this.
that would
I can
be.
do this. I can do this.
There's more. There's more. She's
Okay.
like the third now, I think.
Hold on. We can do this. I can do this. Rhea Ripley, Mia Yim, I can do this. I can do this. I can do this. I can do this. Oh, Vega. Is that it? Yep. That I know. Okay, so Vega, Mama Ripley, and Mia Yim. By the way, that's my new name for her now, Mama Ripley. Just gonna let that one sit. Mama Ripley. Mama Ripley. Yeah, what are they doing with the SmackDown title?
It's unannounced.
Oh, the fifth woman's
fifth
unannounced,
woman.
so it's not even. Wait, is that Mia Yim up there, in the top? She looks so different with makeup on. Like she's on, because I watch her on like YouTube and stuff. She looks so different when she's on Raw. Sometimes like I can't tell that's her. All right, so Team Sheamus versus Team. Wouldn't it be Team KO?
KO
Team
just
Sheamus?
came in though. KO was like our fifth member.
The bloodline. I love Sami Zayn's picture in his face.
He's like
in that.
scared. He's scared.
Well, maybe. I mean, hopefully keep the brawling brutes away from Sami Zayn so he doesn't break his neck. Or
Yeah.
whatever the one guy is.
Yep.
The unnamed guy, Butch and Sheamus, and then that other guy.
AJ and Balor 1-on-1.
Is that what's
Yep.
happening?
And
Shotzi.
Shotzi and Rousey.
And that,
Those are the only 4 matches announced so
I was gonna
far.
say there's only 4 matches.
Well,
Oh, it's on a Saturday too.
also the War Games matches will probably take like
War Games.
40 minutes apiece.
So, like, what do you think? Like 2 more matches added?
Yeah, that's probably it.
You know what they should do is just, I mean, at least announce the Intercontinental and the U.S. title matches. I mean, it's a week away. Come on. Who's Rollins fighting? Nobody?
I would assume that Rollins will fight either Austin Theory because Austin Theory is
Mhm.
like I wanted to cash in on him and like Bobby
And then-
Lashley attacked him, or Rollins will defend against Lashley.
What's the other one? Gunther?
Gunther.
Who should
Gunther.
Gunther fight? Yeah.
I don't know.
Rey Mysterio?
Sure,
Why not?
why not? Just get Gunther on the card.
Or Logan Paul?
I like Gunther.
I know you do.
He beat him and Sheamus beat the fuck out of each other.
That's what's up, ham and cheese. All right. Well, thank you for watching. I can't wait for next week. We're going to talk about Mama Ripley
Yep.
and all the other stuff, Survivor Series. I don't know. Who cares?
Yeah. All right.
right.
We'll talk next time.
Yep. Thanks for watching or listening or whatever you're doing right now and, enjoying us. And we'll see you guys next time.
Do the needful.
Thanks. A button-up shirt. And
Yeah.
You're like, come on.
Yeah.
I've
Like,
been waiting here for 2 hours. What are you doing?
yeah. What are you doing?
And you just...
You just stuck with that button.
I'm having a hard time with it. Hold on. It's simple. It's just a normal button. Just do it.
It's just a button. Just do it.